Hi, my name is Amira Awada. I'm the Vice President of Instituto Vidas Raras here in Brazil. I'm connected to the organization because I met my friend Dudu, who has MPS 6 at law school, and we graduated together. And his mom asked me to come to work with her, and I've been working with the organization for 12, 13 years already. And it's a pleasure to work with them and to the community.
Hi, I'm Sook.
And I'm Edmund, and we live in Malaysia, which is in Southeast Asia.
We are parents of two boys who has rare disease. My eldest son Jaden, who's 14 years old, has growth hormone deficiency and pituitary macroadenoma, and our youngest son Brandon has spinal muscular atrophy, and he's 11 years old.
Because of their journeys, some time ago we set up a non-profit organization which works not only locally, but we engage both regionally and internationally as well.
Hello, my name is Nicole Millis. I am the CEO of Rare Voices Australia, RVA, the peak body for Australians living with a rare disease. I'm also the mother of a young adult living with a rare disease.
We are Lynn and Majid Jafar from the UAE, and we are the proud parents of Alia, our daughter, who was born 7 years ago with a rare disease called CDKL5 deficiency disorder, or CDD.
Hello, my name is Vesna, and I'm a Gaucher patient, type 1. So this is the reason why I got involved in the rare disease community.
The work that we're most proud of is to be able to play a role to get some patients started on treatments for their SMA. These were under what we call compassionate use programs, so they're given by pharma for free to the patients. Unfortunately, not all patients get it, and only some. But in the early days, this looked really impossible because the doctors were not on board. Pharmaceutical companies also were either not here or not interested, and the stakeholders didn't know about SMA. So we spent years drumming up support, getting people to be more aware, and creating what we felt was an environment that could start to work together, right? Because each of them just can't do it by themselves. And in 2020, we're really pleased that some of the kids started getting treated with 2 different drug therapies in Malaysia. Now, we're very blessed, very fortunate. One of them is our son. And firsthand now we can see why these treatments really matter. His disease has stabilized, and through that stabilization, there's so many functional gains that he has gotten. And it's not about the function, it's about how our lives seem to have completely changed. When before, it felt like we were just fighting a disease, and it was some point we just knew that it's going to be incredibly difficult and there would be a loss. Now it sort of changed that whole future. And now it makes us think, right? It really makes us think beyond the disease. What does life mean for him as well as for us?
And also, not just us, the families who have experienced, or the child who has been treated, the caregivers have experienced tremendous hope to see that the child could thrive more. And with these small children, instead of passing off before 2 years old, they are now living to live the life that was possible with the treatment. But we are well aware that this comes a lot with needing support from the community and from other stakeholders. And mental health is one of the big issues that we know the caregivers would need in terms of support. And therefore, we are also having programs to support the families in terms of mental health. And we know that these children will now be able to go to school. The challenges that comes ahead of us is huge.
As with all rare disease families, it has been a remarkable journey. The challenge of diagnosis at the beginning, through to advocacy and supporting research through the Loulou Foundation that we established when Alia was just 1. And then to establishing the High Hopes nonprofit therapy center here in Dubai 5 years ago, to supporting her and other special children just like her in the UAE.
The UAE has been an incredibly supportive place to raise a child with a rare disorder, from the national and local government policies ensuring greater inclusion and accessibility to the public awareness campaigns and events such as the hosting of the Special Olympics in 2019 and here at Expo this year. As part of our UAE community efforts, we joined with other families from High Hopes to hold the first Rare Disease Day walk on Kite Beach, Dubai in 2018, attended by several hundred people. This grew to over 2,000 people by the Rare Disease Day 2020, led by the UAE Minister of Tolerance, His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, and with support from many government bodies, including Dubai Police and Fire Brigade Band and mascots, as well as schools, hospitals, and local businesses. While the COVID pandemic moved our events online, the enthusiasm and support has only grown, and we look forward to being in person again next year.
In 2014, we actually managed to gather 12 different rare disease organizations into one national alliance for rare diseases. And this was, when we got a little bit more serious. We actually wrote a strategy, a national plan for rare diseases. It's still not adopted, by the way, but the government formed a commission for rare diseases, a registry for rare diseases. They have a special program for funding rare disease treatment, and everything is in place to support people with rare diseases. Today, we fight so we get rare diseases into our laws, because rare diseases are not a definition in our health law. They are not existent in our social laws. So this is what we are trying to do now. We want to get them a special place in our laws so they can get the services that they need as people with rare diseases.
A few years ago, on behalf of the Australian Government, Rare Voices Australia led the collaborative development of Australia's National Strategic Action Plan for Rare Diseases, the first nationally coordinated effort to address rare diseases in Australia. It was informed by multi-stakeholder consultation, developed by the rare disease sector for the rare disease sector. Now Rare Voices Australia is leading the implementation of the action plan in many ways. We are developing a rare portal, a digital hub customised for Australia. We are collaborating with universities to develop and customise rare disease education for health professionals, mental health support, and rare disease system co-design. We are influencing HTA reform, contributing to research partnerships, highlighting strengths, gaps, and opportunities for further investment into the rare disease workforce, as well as rare disease registries and clinical trials. Our focus is on rare disease policy and systemic advocacy. We work collaboratively with over 90 RVA partner organisations, mostly specific disease support groups.
One of the main focus of our work here in Brazil is to create public health policies to the rare disease community, something that are created just for them. And when we saw and worked on the UN resolution, we felt like we would have more support on the international way. So our government would feel the need to commit with our community here in Brazil. So last year we had the newborn screen expansion law approved here. So for us was something very important, and that I think goes along with the UN resolution very well, because when we are talking about the right diagnosis on the early stages of life, you're gonna have a better quality of life. And we talk about the right to go to school, to work, to play, because they need to have the right to play. And that's something that we need to make sure that the people with rare disease will have all these aspects of their life. They will have support so they can enjoy life and not just do some treatment, or it's not just the health that we need to take care. We need to make sure that they will have a good life. And I think the UN resolution bring this hope and give us support so we can fight in our own countries to have this.
The UN resolution is so important and will help to advance our work in Australia. The increasing profile of rare diseases within the United Nations helps us to highlight gaps and inequities and opportunities for improvement. The UN resolution helps us to keep rare disease policy a priority for decision makers. It brings visibility to people living with a rare disease and acts as a catalyst for actions and policies, both at the global and national level. It encourages the Australian government to keep showing rare disease leadership, to maintain traction with the action plan implementation. Importantly, it helps to show and remind us that we are not alone. We are a global community with a strong voice.
What does life mean to us? I believe this is the same question that many RD families ask, correct?
Yep.
And in Malaysia, the perception of the rare disease community is a health issue, probably because it's the word disease. So now, with the UN resolution, which affirms there are more challenges than just health issue, we are now able to use it as a toolkit to have dialogues with respective ministers, with respective other stakeholders.
Yeah. The fact that it's a UN resolution, I think it helps because we can go to everyone and say, for it to be a UN resolution, this must be really important. And because it's really important, this deserves some time from you. Whereas in the past, they'll sometimes look at you and say, well, okay, so Edmund, two of you only, we can get pushed away. But with a UN resolution, it brings the voices of the whole rare disease community in Malaysia. And not only that, the 300 million people who are affected by this, to let everyone know who's responsible to make a change, understand that this is important and it deserves their attention. And more important than that, we need commitments to start to make a difference. There's a lot that needs to be changed, but with this UN resolution, it really helps us get our foot in through the door, keep our foot in the door to keep it apart, and to now have conversations that we can progress. Only with that, we can start to really make a difference across all these other areas, which today we all know are significant challenges for rare disease families to live a better life.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, if you want to get some social service as a rare disease person, you cannot do that. You can do it if you have some kind of a disability, physical or mental. So if you have problem functioning, then you can actually get a social service. But if you only have a rare disease and you're a functional person, at least, you know, when they see you, they say, oh, you have a disease? I don't think so. You look so healthy. You have nothing. So you get nothing as a social service. And this is a problem. And we are trying to resolve this. And I really hope that the UN resolution will actually help us to get this equity for rare diseases, for families facing these challenges and problems. Because we don't want to be people with disabilities. We want to stay people with rare diseases. It makes us special, it makes us different, and we are proud to be people with rare diseases.
Here, with the being part of the group that worked on the UN resolution, brought us more support from physicians, from government, and we see a bigger commitment. As we have an election year, And we are going to get this UN resolution to all the people that will take part on this election. So they will know about us, and they can put us on their program, so we can make sure that they will commit with us. And we are doing the same thing with the government right now. So as this February month starts, we are doing a lot of work with the media, with government, physicians, to make sure that they know about this and that we can use this in our favor.
The UN resolution last year was a momentous achievement, supported by all the governments of the Middle East, formalizing recognition for the tens of millions of rare disease patients in our region and around the world.
The drive to promote positive social change for people with physical and intellectual disabilities and create a more inclusive society runs through the core of the UAE, our policies and our future ambitions. We believe in inclusion of all people of determination and strive for them to have fuller lives and to contribute to our society. Today, the UAE and the wider Middle East community stand with all those with rare diseases and their families, as we strive to ensure their inclusion and help them live fuller lives. To all these families out there, remember, we are all in this together.
Rare is many, rare is strong, rare is proud.